Imagine this, a classroom full of students. The students who are listening to a math lesson that is then interrupted by a government official with a gun telling them that the school must be closed for no reason. Now if this happened in America, it probably wouldn't be tolerated. But unfortunately, in Afghanistan, this is an all too common occurrence. Now, this book right here, In the Sea There Are Crocodiles by Fabio Gaeta, made me aware of these kind of problems. It made me conscious that in another country, this kind of thing happens all the time. And I really wanted to share this with you because I think that you'd be interested in knowing that these kind of problems are present and they need to be shared. So I want to make you more aware, and I would hope that after you are aware, you will share. So first I'll present a problem about people being ignorant of these things, and then how it affects others and how it might even affect you. And then I'll present a solution. Hopefully, this solution can help other people know more about what's going on and encourage action. So the problem is a misconception about the relationship between the Taliban and the Afghanistan people. While it's true that some people in Afghanistan agree with and even support the actions of the Taliban as their government, it's also true that there are other groups who suffer from this control they've put on them. So now I can probably tell you that this conflict can be caused in part by the conflict between the Sunni and the Shiite factions of Islam. So actually, in an article by Pierre Tristan on Middle Eastern issues, he says that 80% of the population of Afghanistan are Sunni. This also is what the Taliban is. But a mere 15% are Shiite. Now, in Ayatollah Akbari, who this book is based on his story, belongs to the latter group. He also belongs to a small ethnic group called the Hazara. And he has this to say about the relationship between ethnic groups in Afghanistan. There's a saying among the Taliban: Tajikistan for the Tajiks, Uzbekistan for the Uzbeks, and Goristan for the Hazara. That's what they say. Gor means grave. Now, this is important because Anatola is the one whose school was closed down. He is the one who saw his teacher killed for not complying with the Taliban's mandates. This problem of ignorance and misunderstanding is really very evident when reading this quote from the end of the book, when Anatola is seeking political asylum in Italy. And the commissioner can't understand why he would want political asylum because, quote, in Afghanistan, the situation wasn't so dangerous for Afghans when you come down to it. And he would be perfectly all right if he could be in his own house. Well, judging from what I told you about what happened to his school and his teacher, and from the knowledge that he and his brother had to hide in a hole in the dirt whenever anyone came to the door for fear of being captured or killed, that's simply not true. So this obviously affects the people in that country who are going through this suffering and being persecuted. But I think it also affects us because our misunderstanding of their problems, it spurs conflicts in our own country, and people that are coming to our country, we don't know that there are differences between the relationships between the Taliban and the citizens. So now I'd like to give you a solution. The solution? Spread the word. If I can encourage you to just become more aware of this, if you could learn about the problems, and if you knew more about it, then you could share with other people. And if we all made an effort to know about what was going on, we wouldn't be ignorant anymore. For me, this book was what made me aware. And so, it made me aware of problems that are 8,000 miles from me. If we could encourage people to take the time to read true accounts of people who are there experiencing this persecution, then we would understand. And this solves the problem because understanding allows us to put ourselves in their shoes. And it would prevent incorrect judgments and unnecessary conflicts in our own country. So, to sum things up, I've told you about the problem. The problem is misconceptions about them in the Middle East, and also ignorance about the situation that they're in. But I also gave you a solution. If we all learn more about this, and if we all tell other people more about it, then maybe we can all be more understanding for the people that come to this country seeking refuge from their persecution. Or even other countries in Europe, because Anatola went to Italy. So I'd like to leave you with this quotation from the book. And this is a discussion between Anatola and the author, Fabio. This matters a lot to me, Fabio. What does? Making it clear that Afghans and Taliban are different. I want people to know this. Do you know how many nationalities there were, the men who killed my teacher? Fabio said, no, how many? There were 20 of them in that jeep, right? Well, there may not have been 20 different nationalities, but almost. Some couldn't communicate among themselves. Pakistan, Senegal, Morocco, Egypt. A lot of people think the Taliban are all Afghans, Fabio, but they aren't. Some of them are, of course, but not all of them. They are ignorant of everything. And they stop children from studying because they're afraid those children might come to understand that they don't do what they do for God. They do it for themselves. Fabio replied, we'll say it loud and clear, Anatola. So I ask you, will you say it loud and clear? Thank you.
Very good. That's what I like.